Okay, all right, back to you, Lance.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And we will go through this and get this done by 4 o'clock. We do have a hard stop at 4, so we're going to zip through. And as Mark said, please feel free to chat questions, or we'll open up mics at the end so we can go through any questions you may have. But to start off with, we just wanted to remind everybody that for 2018, and I say remind, we have the same sales area we've had for the last 4 or 5 years. So nothing's changed with regards to the small group sales area. Anything yellow is HMO and PPO or Vantage and Plus plans, and anything blue, Loudoun and Fauquier County are PPO only. And the only 2 counties we don't sell in Virginia are in Fairfax and Prince William. Now, quick reminder on how we determine the market segments. When we say small group with Optima Health, we primarily are looking at how many total employees do you have. If you have 2 to 50 total employees, you're small group. If you have 51 or more total employees, the next question we're going to ask you is how many eligibles do you have? After that, if you have 150 or less than 151, however you want to say that, then you would be mid-market. So we just wanted to remind you what small group and mid-market are. So we're going to start talking today about small group. So with that, one of our announcements we made last year, and we want to make sure everybody is aware that we're into a full year, 2018. You can now sell any small group with Optima Health and have at least 2 plans in that group. We're no longer limited to just 1 plan in our 2 to 4 market. So the rules that used to apply for 5 to 15 now apply for 2 to 15. So basically, and I should have said 2 to 14, but basically 2 to 14 enrolling can have 2 plans, and actually can even have 3 plans if one of those 3 plans is our equity plan. That's our HSA eligible plan. Any group with 15 or more enrolled is going to have the option to go up to 3 plans. Another thing we're doing this year, and this is something we've been doing for the last couple of years as well, but we know that a lot of folks have pushed their small group effective dates to 12/1. We continue to look for opportunities to move off that 12/1 cycle. So again, this year, when you move a group to Optima Health, you move them from Anthem or whoever, and you move them to us for an effective date other than 12/1, and it has to be a 12/1 group coming to us, but you move them to any effective date other than 12/1. I'll use April 1st as an example. We will allow you to set up a calendar year accumulator plan, so your deductible and your maximum out of pocket are now going to be set up on a calendar year. We will also allow you to get deductible and maximum out of pocket credit from January 1st through the effective date of April 1. Or whatever that effective date is. So that's one way of trying to help groups transition away from the 12/1, and it helps you guys out with lightening that end of the year load. So we're still promoting that this year as well. There's more info on the website about that. We also want to let you know that as of 11/1 effective dates, all of our groups now can have the statin medications covered at 100%. As long as it's for adults 40 to 75 with no history of cardiovascular disease. So this is your generic Lipitor, Zocor, and so forth. Effective any group with a 1/1 or later effective date, and this is a Virginia state law, the contraceptives are now able to be covered or you can now get up to a 12-month supply on your contraceptives. So that's any group effective 1/1 or later. Now, with regards to small group, we have made changes. As you may know, every year we have to go through the actuarial value calculator to update the plan designs. There are certain rules and limits we have to abide by. So you are going to see some changes, and we want to go through that with you a little bit. The 2 biggest overall changes we want to make sure you're aware of is we've gotten away from the limited copay plans. For 2018, we only have 1 plan left that has that limited copay structure. And then we've also gotten away from offering both the embedded and non-embedded. We are going to have 1 non-embedded plan left out there. That's a POS plan. Other than that, every plan we're offering is an embedded plan. So for new plans, your designs, we're still going to try to put some of those platinum plans out there for you. You'll see others that may be kind of straying away, but we still see a need. We still have a demand for them. So you're going to have platinum with us all the way down to bronze, but you will see some platinum plans. and then our PPO and HMO and POS, all three product families. What's interesting, though, is when you get to the actual value calculations, that's where you start seeing the tweaks more and more. You know, you're going to see some differences in copays and co-insurance, but we want to draw your attention to the in-network deductible adjustments. In the left or the center column here, you'll see the 2017 plan deductibles that are being changed in 2018. So basically, we've got a 3,500 plan that moved to a 3,700, 3,600 moving to a 4,000. All of this is being done because of the tweaking to make it fit in the calculations. The next slide here talks about the maximum out of pockets, and you'll see some tweaking there as well. You'll see some of the MOOPs going up. Again, the main thing we want to stress here is even though we're tweaking these plans, you need to be aware of them for when you come up for renewal. But we don't want you to think that you're being forced to pick the same plan because of the tweaks. So what we do when we release a renewal to you guys is, you know, we have our own little mapping internally that we say, here is your 2017 plan, here's your 2018 plan, here's your percentage of increase. But as you may hopefully already know, is this does not limit the decision of that group. That group can pick any plan design they want to replace that 2017 plan with. So we're not trying to force you guys to go to a certain plan design. We just have to have a mapping of some sort because there are groups out there that don't let us know when they want to renew. We have an auto-renew process. So we have to map them to something. Plus, it also gives you a starting point for that conversation to have with that group. So again, just wanted to stress, we're not limited to the mapping, but there is a mapping that you'll get out there with those plans. And finally, for small group, please don't forget, you know, we've been doing this for years, and as far as I know, I think we're still the only carriers doing it, but there is no minimum employer contribution in small group. So again, when you're talking to those small groups, and that's 50 or less, remember, you know, they don't have to be part of the pay or play regulation. We are allowing those groups to have no minimum employer contribution to help them out and help some of their members out as well when it comes to picking the right plan designs for those who can afford it or not. And then finally, Optima Health, as we've offered for years, is fully integrated with health equity for our equity products. So anytime you're looking at an HSA product with Optima Health, just know in the background, at no additional charge, you've got the full integration that works with health equity. So with all that, I'm now going to hand it over to Donna, and she can go through the Business Edge products with you.
Super. Thanks, Lance. All right. Are you going to have control of the slides?
Yeah, I'll just let me know when to go. I just wanted to make sure I could hear you.
I can hand it back off to you, Donna, if you want.
Oh no, I'm happy. Lance can be the slide controller. That's good.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about Business Edge for a few minutes. Business Edge is our self-funded, level-funded product. We made some changes to Business Edge last year to make it available to more groups and to simplify the process for enrollment. So the threshold for what groups are eligible for Business Edge is we lowered the bottom end, 10 enrolled, and increased the top end to 150. So small group starting at 10 enrolled, and then all the way through our mid-market segment with 150 enrolled are eligible for Business Edge. And we have also made it easier to underwrite and take a look at a Business Edge product for your current Optima Health fully insured groups. What we've done is taken a look at some groups that we already know Business Edge might be a good fit for. So we're proactively those proposals along with your regular fully insured renewal if they've been identified as a potential really good group for Business Edge. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't in our fully insured portfolio right now that you might want to ask for a business ed quote. Maybe they just didn't make the cut, so to speak, to get one proactively given to them, because we can't do them all. And if you want to see one on a group that it wasn't supplied automatically, please just request that through your Optima Health representative, because that doesn't mean that the group might not still find some benefit, whether that's cost savings or they just want to move to the self-funded platform and have some opportunity perhaps for refund at the end of the year. So please don't take it as they're not eligible if you don't get an automatic quote. And then for our current business, you just have to supply applications with medical information for individuals that aren't actually on the fully insured plan. So again, trying to streamline that process for current groups that just want to change to Business Edge. On our new group underwriting Business Edge, we're only going to require individual applications with medical questions on groups 10 to 19 enrolling. That again doesn't mean you cannot submit applications. Obviously, underwriters are a lot more comfortable if they have some information. So if you have a group of 30, 40 people that you can get those applications from, that's probably going to get you an even more accurate underwriting result. But we know that that's a challenge sometimes to get those larger groups to fill out individual applications. So we did roll out a new process for underwriting those groups, and that's using what's called a GRX census. It's a regular census with some additional data added to it. So we have to have the dependents identified by name and birth date, and some different things like that. But what it does is it allows us to underwrite groups of 20 or more with just census information and not those medical applications. This is kind of the general underwriting checklist. We do ask for the Edge group application up front, either the individual applications for employees or the GRX census. Of course, their current and renewal, if they're coming from another carrier, and what plans they're on. And the last one here is really important we also want to know which plans you'd like to see. At the current time, we are able to quote a combination, 1, 2, or 3 plans, and those are the rates for that combination of plans. So plan A, B, and C is on a proposal together, but if you want to see plan D, that's going to be on a separate proposal, and you can't intermingle them. So if then moving forward, you said, oh, I like plan D, I want to pair it with A and B and get rid of C, we have to go back to underwriting for that. So that's a really important part of the process right now, is which plans you would like to see quotes for, and in what combination, and where you think people are going to fall from the census. So the split on which plan they're going to be on. The designation of which plans the members are going to be on isn't as important at final enrollment. So we definitely made another change there that I'll share with you. And on the stop loss, we have these separate specific stop loss and aggregate stop loss levels set based on the size of the group. So this is what standard with the proposals. And then, again, you can see the break points on the size group from 10 up to 150. Again, back to the quoting process, the final rates are going to be based on those final plan pairings. So again, We can't just mix and match from various proposals and put them together ourselves. We have to have the final plan hearing submitted to underwrite, and then the final enrollment. And of course, which refund option? We have 3 refund options: 100%, 2/3, or 1/2. You'll see actually all 3 on the proposals that you get for Business Edge. One special note on the final enrollment, we did make some changes also based on broker feedback. It's a little bit easier. We know how hard it is while you're going through the process for setting up one of these groups, where one person may quit or another person may become eligible, and it throws off that census. So we do have a 10% change threshold that will still hold the underwriting. So if you do have a group of 20 people and 2 people drop off or come on, we can still hold those rates with that little bit of change in the enrollment. So that's hopefully made it a lot easier for folks going through the process of establishing one of these Business Edge groups. And then our timeline for Business Edge, there are a lot, because it is self-funded, there are some additional steps once a group decides like Business Edge plan that we have to create certain documents and things. Takes a little bit longer. So important to stay to the timeline. We can provide a proposal up to 90 days out, but then we have a hard cutoff at 45 days from the effective date as to when that's your latest date to request a proposal. Then on the 15th of the month prior to the effective date, we have to have all materials checked, all of those enrollment materials submitted no later than the 15th. So the timeline, business is a little bit different than our regular fully insured business, so we like to point that out and make you all aware of it. And for 2018, we did add some new plans. You'll see the 3 highlighted in yellow, 3 Vantage plans, the $3,000, $4,000, and $5,000 deductible levels. The Vantage Equity is HSA eligible. So we wanted to add a few higher deductible, leaner plans to the portfolio for those groups that really wanted to seek some cost savings generally. So now we have some. And our commission Business Edge products follow the same schedule as our fully insured products. We did make another improvement to the Business Edge process, though, that we are able to establish a different commission than the standard. So in a case where you may want that higher or lower, we have the ability to do that. It just has to be requested before any proposals are generated. So from the very outset, if it's going to be different than this standard, we can't go back later to make the adjustment. So all proposals are generated with 1 commission letter level, 1 commission level. You just have to declare that before we start running proposals. And that's new. So if you have questions about that, we'll be happy to talk about that at question answer time. And then a few reminders, general reminders. So for all our fully insured products and Business Edge line, always good to keep in mind the additional services like employee assistance program, emergency travel assistance, MD Live, our virtual visit, and the online treatment cost estimator, which has gone through some changes as well to make it even more valuable and give that transparency to the members. And if you are on a Business Edge product, we do provide reporting monthly to the employer group that shares with them their claims totals so that they know how their plan is running throughout the year. Also, we've been touting for a while now this spreadsheet enrollment, but some may not be aware it's now available for everything that we do, new business, renewals, full group renewals, or just maintenance transactions. Always important, though, to check for the most recent version on the website. It continually goes through enhancements and changes, and generally the most current version is the one that works in the system. So just if you're going to use the spreadsheet, just make sure you go out and get that most current version from our website, please. And then few Eastern Virginia highlights. Actually, on New Year's Eve, the first baby was born at Centera Careplex in the new birthing suite, the Family Maternity Center. So Family Maternity is up and running in Hampton at Centera Careplex. And then Mid-Atlantic Women's Care, just to note, they are in Optima Health, all of our HMO, POS, and PPO networks. And so we just want to give you a reminder about that. And I think that is all. So thanks very much. We'd be happy to take any questions that you have.
Okay. Get unmuted. If there's a question, fire away. Very good. Thanks, everybody. Lance, Donna, everybody at Optima, all the brokers for tuning in.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
See you soon. Okay. All right. Bye-bye.